So today is October 18th, and you know what that means? Seth is back home. Tax season is over. He still has some shade. He's still gray, but tax season over.
Hence why I got home 15 minutes ago. So, yeah, now I have 3 months of not being in the office until probably after 5:30, home twice a week, exhausted as hell, but all in all, not too bad.
And Carly in 3 months will be like, get out.
Won't take that long.
Probably not. Not after you have Monday night football, Thursday night football, Saturday football, Sunday football. Right. But Jake will be happy.
He will. He is.
Jake's happy because there's hockey, and then Jake's going to be happy because the NBA starts. So he'll be able to watch his two favorite sports. Because I think those are his two favorite sports now, which means he's definitely not your son. Because your son would have the NFL first. But you know, it's funny. That would be
your influence.
I was going through as I was preparing for today's show. The title is obviously Seth and Sean, but the description says, "Has there ever been a team like the Philadelphia Phillies before?" And the reason I say that is because if you look at their stats, top to bottom, they don't have a 300 hitter at all. They are, in fact, they don't, as a regular, their highest hitter. So their catcher is batting 252. Their first baseman is their lead first baseman is batting 230. Their lead second baseman batting 280. Their shortstop bats 266. Their third baseman bats 274. Their left fielder bats 197. Their center fielder bats 277, 272 for the right fielder, and then 293 for Bryce Harper. And we all know Bryce Harper is a stud. And I was wondering whether there was ever a team that made the World Series without a 300 hitter. And I know that the game has changed, right?
Absolutely there is.
Okay, but hold on. Here's the key. I thought this was just a Diamondback problem. I thought this was just a Philly problem. And then I went and looked at the Diamondbacks. They don't got a 300 hitter either. So there is definitely going to be a team with under a 300 hitter, without a 300 regular hitter this year. And that to me seems a little rare. And especially in the age set, this is why I hate the DH. We all know I hate the DH. Every person.
Sean, do you hate the DH?
Every person that has ever watched this show or listened to this show knows I despise it. I understand the reasoning behind it. The reasoning behind it for the Major League Baseball Players Association is older players can hang on without a position. I get that. Totally get it. And the reasoning for the fans is they get to see David Ortiz, who probably would not have found the position. Edgar Martinez, who was horrendous in the field. I get Rob. I get it. I do. But I don't like it. And part of it is Kyle Schwarber batting 197 has a defensive WAR of like -4 because he's so bad in the field. And this just allows another player who is a swing and miss player to be in the lineup. And I find that's why you don't have 300 hitters anymore. Because in some ways is because when you had the ninth guy as the pitcher and you had to compensate for that, you didn't have to have a swing and miss. You didn't just have a power hitter in there. You had to actually manufacture runs. Here, you don't have to do that with the DH. And I found it strange to look at the Phillies and say, wow, there's not one 300 hitter, only one 900 OPS. And that's Bryce Harper, and he's exactly at 900. There is no 900 OPS on the Diamondbacks. So if the National League wins the World Series this year, could this be one of the worst World Series winners of all time?
Well, I mean, look, Philly pulled this year what the Miami Heat did for the most part. They kind of just cruised through the year. didn't really matter where they got in. Once they got in, they were going to be they were dangerous, and that's what happened. As for your 300, go back to 1967 because that year, if I remember correctly, only one hitter hit over 300.
That's true. That's a good
Based
point.
on that logic. By
Yeah.
the way, that's a killer pull by me right there.
Well, you know who won the Triple Crown that year?
Of course, Yastrzemski won it with a 301 batting average.
Right, but I don't. Hold on, but that's just in the. Let's see the Cardinals. Okay.
I don't think it was just the American League. I think it was the entire.
I do. I'm pulling it up now. So
am I.
Orlando Cepeda batted 325.
Damn.
And Kurt Flood batted 335.
Damn. I thought it was such a good
Even
pull.
Tim McCarver batted 295. And Lou Brock batted 299. So
the game is different. The game is different. The game is progressively worse. It is a home run or nothing game for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Schwarber defines what today is, right? So he has 720 plate appearances. First of all, holy smoke. Like, that is in 160 games. So that is almost 5 plate appearances a game. I remember back to Willie Wilson, I think, had the most at-bats in a year at 702. And 1 year, I don't remember what year that was. I seem to recall that. But remember, plate appearances don't include walks, while at-bats do not. So I wonder how many he did in that year. I'll check that. 720 plate appearances. So 585 at-bats, which means the difference, the delta, is walks or sacrifice hits. And we know Kyle Schwarber doesn't really lay down a bunt. So 108 runs, 115 hits. Seth, he came up 720 times and has 115 hits. 19 doubles, 1 triple. I'm actually surprised he has a triple. 47 home runs, 126 walks, and 215 strikeouts. So he had, almost double the amount of strikeouts that he had hits. He batted 197 with a 343 on base percentage and a 474 slugging percentage. He is the epitome of what today's baseball game is. And Adam Dunn would fit perfectly in today's game.
Yes, he would.
Perfect. He was like 20 years too early, was Adam Dunn. But that's what I'm looking. And if you look even at the pitching, excuse me, you have Aaron Nola at 12-9, Zach Wheeler at 13-6, T1 Walker at 15-6. I didn't realize he had that great of a year. He had a 4.38 ERA with a 15-6 average, 15-6 winning. But that just means they pummeled the ball. I mean, the Phillies pummeled the ball. If that's what you're looking at. And yeah, I am a little flabbergasted by this is where we are as a baseball league. How we got to this point. And like I said, I thought I was only looking at the Phillies, and then I looked at the Diamondbacks and they were the same way. I did go and look at the Rangers, and Corey Seager's batting like 327, so that doesn't count. And I believe the Astros have a 300 hitter, at least one. So I do wonder if there has ever been a World Series winner with a 300 average, without a 300 average. And I went and looked at the Twins because to me,
1987,
right? But they had Kirby,
Puckett, yeah.
So that's always going to be there. I was thinking of other teams that the 69 Mets had Don Clendenon, I think, at 316. I'm thinking of other teams that may not. I mean, every Yankees team had a 300 hitter, right? I mean, you had either Jeter or Paul O'Neill or Bernie. Somebody had 300. I can't imagine anybody in the 30s or 40s would be under.
No,
I mean, That was
In
a
the
hitter.
60s, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a team that did. It was such a pitcher's era.
I wouldn't either. Maybe the Orioles in 71, but then you're at Brooks
No,
Robinson and Frank, right? And I mean, hold on, let me see. 1971 Orioles. I mean, that might be one that I thought. Hey, bingo, 71 Orioles.
good call.
Thank you. Highest was, you want to guess who the highest person was on that team?
Brooks?
How about Don Buford at 290?
I didn't know
And
Don
next
Buford was playing that long ago.
And next was Davey Johnson at 282. Huh. Okay, well, we obviously know there has been a World Series winner with a batting average of oh no. Hold on. Marv Redmond had played in 141 games and 580. He had 491 at bats. That's a regular to me. I mean, it was the fourth outfielder, but he comparatively had the same amount of at bats as all the others. So he batted 318.
On the 71, it's on the 71 Orioles you're talking
Yeah,
about?
so the three outfielders were Buford, Blair, and Robinson. But each of them had 500, so 449, 516, 455. 455 for Robinson at bats, and Redmond had 491. So that's considered a regular. You have 500 at bats, you're a regular. So he batted 318. So that doesn't even work.
I'm looking around a little bit.
And by the way, they lost the World Series, so that doesn't really count anyway. They lost to the Pirates, who also had 2 3 years, Manny Sanguilla and Roberto Clemente. So I'm not sure if we've had a World Series winner without a 300 hitter. I'll check back next week because I'll do the research. I just didn't have the time to do it this week. But I don't find
I'm actually looking up a specific team. Hold on.
I don't find this type of baseball amusing. I don't find it entertaining.
Nope.
I got to say what I did not like. So let's talk about the rules that were changed this year. I think the pitch clock was a success.
Agreed.
I don't like it.
Doesn't matter.
But I think it's going to take time. Look, it's going to take the same way every other rule, right? You're going to need an adaptation time. So once the minor leaguers come up that have been dealing with it their entire lives or their entire baseball careers and then become Major League Baseball pitchers, they will have adapted to that. So you will see less and less of these balks, less and less of the walks, less and less of people stepping out. And I think then it will be a better situation. Overall, I think it speeds up the game. You're getting out generally in 3 hours now instead of 4, which is certainly a benefit. I have not – Seth, have you watched a playoff game this year? I know you've been in the office, so I'm not sure if you've turned on the playoff.
Parts. I don't watch full games anymore anyway. I've seen innings here and innings there.
Yeah, I'm just curious. And again, I haven't – let me look at – so 10-0, Philadelphia beat Arizona the other night.
Right.
But I want to see the time of the game, if I can find the time of the game. 3 hours and 6 minutes for a playoff game.
Not terrible.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the commercials that have to go on in that type of game. Remember, now baseball is getting those 30-second commercials, right? The commercials like the NFL has on the right side, because there's just not enough time during the inning switch in order to do that type of commercial block that they used to be able to do. So 306 is really good if you're watching a playoff game. I have been to a game this year. It's first game in a couple of years that I've been to. And it was 2:45. You were in and out. And it was actually quicker than the NFL games. So with that, they successfully appealed. I'm not sure they made more money on booze. In fact, they probably made less money on booze. but success. The DH will never be a successful thing for me, ever. How about the guy starting at second base
Moronic.
in the extra innings?
Moronic. Was
It
I
quickens the
clear?
game.
Was I clear enough?
It quickens the game.
It's penalty shots.
Look, you're not getting a disagreement with me, right? I mean, yeah, penalty shots, penalty kicks, right? In soccer, we're all on the same opinion. Okay. The 3-batter rule for pitchers.
I like it actually.
I'm a big fan. I think that you don't get so many switches, and especially when there's no batter, right? So there's the DH, so it does not matter with regards to that. I'm a fan. I'm not really sure what other there was. Oh, and no shifts. I love no shifts.
Agreed.
I was so tired of seeing that crap every single game. Let's take 5 seconds and move the third baseman into right field. It was a little league play more than anything else. So totally on board with that. Okay. So you have not watched any of the playoffs, or you've watched some of the playoffs?
I've watched intermittently. I mean, I'm not watching full games. I'm watching innings here and there.
Okay. I mean, look, I think if nothing else, we have seen what Philadelphia is. I like watching that team. I don't like I like watching the exuberance of that team, right? That team reminds me very much of the 1986 Mets, where they're just happy all the damn time.
It does seem that way,
right? And and maybe some of it comes from last year where they lost, right? And now they're back, and so you have that. Wayne Gretzky once said, "The only way I learned how to win was how to lose," right? So when the Islanders were finishing up their 4 cups, there's a story that Wayne Gretzky walked by the Islanders locker room. He was like 22 years old. He walked by the Islanders locker room at the end of the 4th cup, and the guys were old. I mean, it was a dynasty that had won 19 straight series, and they were hurt, and they were bent over, and they were breathing hard, and they weren't in the greatest of celebratory. They were more relieved than anything else. And Gretzky looked at that and said, if that's what it takes to win, that's what I'm going to do. And so sometimes, and like every other dynasty that we have seen, the Bulls, the Pistons, right, in the NBA, you have to lose first in order to make that jump. And I think maybe that's where the Phillies are. Look, as much as I would absolutely hate for the Phillies to win a World Series, especially with 2 ex-Mets on that team in Wheeler and Walker, the team's fun to watch.
Which Walker? Tawan Walker?
Tawan Walker was a Met last year. And Zach
I
Wheeler
know that. I forgot he was on the. Yeah, I forgot he was on the.
Zach Wheeler was the guy that we just didn't want to pay.
Right. No, I know Zach. Yeah. Of all those pitchers, that seems like the logical.
Right. So we got. Well. Yeah. So it worked well.
Look, you deal with the pitchers the way the Giants are currently dealing with the offensive line.
Getting a guy right off the couch.
Getting a guy right off the couch, and he's doing.
He happened to go to Syracuse, so I was very happy to see that. That at least he found a job. He was signed, by the way, to the roster today. 53 man. So congratulations that you have a Syracuse alum on your team. That may be the only reason I watch the Giants the rest of the year.
The only reason you're going to watch the Giants the rest of the year is to watch an offensive lineman.
Right, exactly. There's no reason to watch the Giants the rest of the year. There's no reason. There's a great, by the way, before we move on to the NBA, there is a great article on ESPN.com for those that read how much time it takes for Daniel Jones to earn what Brock Purdy earns in a year. So how much time that Daniel Jones?
Let me do the division here. Hold on. He makes $40 million a year, give or take.
Yep.
So that's $1 million every 9 days.
Yep.
Brock Purdy makes $874,000. So it probably takes between 7 and 8 days.
So less than one game it takes to make Brock Purdy's 870,000.
Yeah, he makes 40 million.
Yeah.
40 divided by 16 is 2 million and change. Makes sense.
Oh wait, it actually says exactly how many minutes. It takes 16 minutes of one game for Daniel Jones to make what Brock Purdy makes in a year. You got one more year of him.
Unless we end up in the top 3 and we draft Drake May or
And you still got one more year of him because you can't cut him.
No, we can't.
Can't cut him.
No, we can't.
So, all right. So with that in mind, I could talk about my Jets beating the Eagles. You're welcome.
As you should. Congratulations.
You're welcome. 3-3, which is exactly where we wanted to be. Just a different type of 3-3 than we ever thought. And we're still in the playoff hunt. Look, we play the Giants next week. I'm actually looking forward to what should be an easy win, but I said that about New England too.
Yeah.
I said it should be.
You're the 2023 Jets. You're not. Let's hold back, tough guy. You're 3-3.
Hold on. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a claim that the defense could be one of the best in the last 20 years. I still believe that.
Okay.
I still think that what they did on Sunday without their top 2 corners
It was wonderful.
Proves my point.
No. Let's see where they are at the end of the year.
Okay.
I'm not having this discussion 6 games in.
Fair enough. Okay. So what are you looking let me be a broad base here. The NBA this year we say this every year. It's an interesting year, right? We have teams that we're looking forward to watching and then teams that we're not. So my point to you is that what team are you looking forward to seeing? What team will you tune into? So Zach Lowe runs his television ratings, right?
Yes.
I
haven't seen it yet.
Well, I have. I read 30 through 11. He has yet to release 11 through 1. But let me ask you this. What teams are you tuning in to watch? Are you tuning in to watch your Nets?
Yeah, I'll watch the Nets.
Well, you'll watch the Nets, but are you tuning in to watch the Nets? Or is it the Nets are on, so I'm going to watch it?
Too early to tell. They're a team of a bunch of swing guys, and it really depends it depends on Simmons. If Simmons is interesting to watch, then they're a really good watch. But if he's what we've seen the last 3 years, then I'll watch them because I root for them. But no, there's a lot of teams I find kind of interesting. Even teams that are not very good, I find pretty interesting this year.
I will tell you, if Simmons is what we believe Simmons could be, right? If he returns to Philadelphia Simmons, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This team's a playoff team.
Yes. I agree.
This team is an absolute playoff team. But my question to you is first of all, they have no reason to tank because they don't own any of their own players.
They're not going to tank.
They're not going to tank. Their starters are Simmons at the point, Dinwiddie at the 2, Bridges and Johnson at the 3 and the 4, and then Nick Claxton at the 5.
Give or take, yeah.
Their benches, it's Cam Thomas, it's Dorian Finney-Smith.
It's Royce O'Neal, Day'Ron Sharp.
Right, and Dennis Smith Jr., who's on his 12th team.
Yes.
They are a play-in team. If at their ceiling, they're a play-in team.
No, they could be the 6. They're not a top 5 team, I don't think. But they could be. I mean, it's top 5. Again, depending on what happens with Harden, it's kind of hard to gauge Philly. But I mean, I think the consensus. I would assume the consensus top 5 is Milwaukee, Boston, Cleveland, New York. I would think Philly. And then I think you kind of got 6 through 10 as kind of a 6 through 11 or 12 as a mishmash.
Well, we'll get into that in a second. If you are the Nets and you have the ability to trade Ben Simmons at the deadline, do you do it? Assuming that he's playing well.
It's like everything else in life. It depends what you get for it.
Well, let's just, okay. So he's 1.5 years, right? Left on that contract. So this year and next year. Let's assume you get proper value. I mean, if you get proper value, it's going to be picks, right? You're not trading him. You're not trading him.
Here's the problem. You're not trading Ben Simmons to the Orlando Magic. You're not trading Ben Simmons. You're trading Ben Simmons to a team where he can be a supplemental third or fourth player who they think could help them get to the next tier of the playoffs. So you're not getting a lottery pick. And if you're not getting a lottery pick, if you're getting picked 26, who gives a crap? I mean,
Well, I'm asking you that question.
It depends who he's being traded for or what picks we're looking at. I don't think you can make an arbitrary. I'm trading him to X because the Phoenix Suns don't have a freaking defender to save their life. Now, again, they have no draft picks, obviously, because the Nets have them all anyway. But you get my point.
So you traded Durant and you got Phoenix picks way out, right? So if you're looking at in that context, right? I guess my point is, are you playing to win this year to win, or are you playing to build this team? And is Ben Simmons a block of this team?
I don't think any of us know.
Okay.
I don't think we can possibly know because we have nothing to base it off of one way or the other.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So, all right. So I have to tell you, I am looking forward to watching the Knicks play. I think the Knicks are going to be a very athletic team, but I'm more importantly looking for how they mesh together, because this team, the way it's constructed right now, is a playoff team, but they're not a championship team.
No.
They're not. They need that piece, and I'm not sure where that piece comes from.
Yes, you are. You know exactly where that piece is.
No, I know where I want that piece to come from.
That piece is 230 miles south. It's 100 miles
Only
south.
if he wants to come.
Yeah.
I don't know where that piece. Okay, so let's presume that piece is unavailable. What's the other piece?
There is no other piece that you can get.
Is it Donovan Mitchell wants out of Cleveland?
Donovan Mitchell is not getting you to a championship.
Right, that's my point. How many pieces with this team, the way this team is constructed, get you there? And I'm not sure that they're beyond 230 miles away. I agree with you. I'm not sure there is one. Because the way this team is constructed with Julius Randle planted at the 4, how many players work around him? Because you're not trading him in that trade. Because other teams don't want him.
Fair, because of the contract. I agree.
Well, and because of the way he plays. He is a ball-dominant player that needs the ball. He's not a great defender. I'm trying to come up with a comp with him, and it's really hard. I haven't.
A Bob McAdoo-ish kind of player?
He's not as nimble as McAdoo.
No, he's not. I'm trying to. I mean, also it was a different era. McAdoo was a center, and kind of had that.
So according to Basketball Reference, which we like to use, the best comp for him. Wait, do they not do comps?
Mark Aguirre kind of player?
Aguirre, again, is
better scorer,
not a 4. So the best comp for him is Ed Pinckney or Drew Gooden. I think he's better than the Drew Gooden.
I was going to say he's certainly better than Ed Pinckney was as a pro. I don't think that's a really good, very good reference. Very good comp.
No, I don't either. Yeah, like I said, I'm struggling with a comparable for him because I want to say he's a poor man's Karl Malone, which I think is valid, but
Yeah.
Karl Malone was so much better than him.
He's a very, 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 very poor man's Karl Malone.
Right, exactly. Or a little bit better than AC Green. But he has a better outside shot than AC Green ever did.
Yes, but to be fair, AC Green was the 4th and 5th player. AC Green was a better defensive player, better rebounder, or comparable rebounder.
Kevin McHale? No. Because Randall plays more outside. Like that. That's where my struggle is. My struggle is real here. I can't find a guy that does that. And Barkley, a poor man's Barkley, is Barkley better than Malone?
Yes.
Okay. Then I can't be a poor man's Barkley because then he's a very poor man. Okay. But I am interested in watching the net. Look, Randall averaged 25 and 10 last year. I mean, that is insanely good for a guy that 2 years ago nobody wanted. And so, all right. With that in mind, give me another team that interests you.
I mean, some of the teams are really easy. I think Denver. I want to watch more Denver because I enjoyed immensely how they play. I want to see how Giannis and Lillard play together. I want to see if Sacramento can hold up.
Is Sacramento a championship caliber team?
No.
How many championship teams are out there? Is Golden State a caliber championship team?
Okay, yeah, until they're
so let's look in the West. So Golden State is Phoenix.
Yeah.
Denver, obviously.
Yes.
Are the Lakers?
I think so if they're completely healthy.
Okay. So we got 4. Okay. Memphis, assuming Ja Morant's back?
No, because Memphis even ever won 2 playoff series? They've never won to a conference championship, have they?
No.
Did they go against Golden State? I forget.
They went to a conference championship in the ground and pound years, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Gasol and Randolph teams. I don't know because I don't know what this team is. Did you read the article today in ESPN about Morant?
I have not.
Ooh. It was
telling.
Yeah.
Look, it's not that hard to understand what this. I mean, we've seen the guns. I mean, you hope he doesn't go down that path, right? You hope he doesn't go down.
Yeah, it looks like he's already gone down that path.
Well, he's not as far down as Kevin Porter, so hopefully he doesn't.
No, that was that's.
I'm just saying he's not that far down, and maybe, and this may be a controversial opinion here. If all stars have different rules. We've said this 1,000 times. Kevin Porter is not a top 10 talent in the NBA.
No.
Kevin Porter may not be a top 50 talent in the NBA. No. Ja Morant, a healthy Ja Morant, is a top 10 talent in the NBA.
Yes.
So do all-stars get more chances? Obviously, the answer is yes.
Of course.
Steve Howe is all you have to look at for how many chances a left-handed reliever that can throw strikes, right? Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, right? I mean, all-stars get more chances, especially when you're in New York, they get more chances. But is the same with Ja Morant? Is he getting more of the benefit of the doubt? I have yet to read the article. I have no idea, but
it's a really good article. But yeah, look, if he's healthy and is focused and can get away from the rest of this crap, you have because Bane is really good. Jaren Jackson's really good. You have good supplemental players. You brought in Smart. That team can defend. I think they need another wing, but yeah, I think so.
I've said it before on this show. I'll say it again. Ja Morant's the most exciting player to watch in the NBA, to me. Bar none.
He's right there.
Not even close. It's really not close to me. He may not be the most talented player in the NBA. He may not be the best player in the NBA. In fact, I don't believe he is. But exciting, A to B, most exciting player to watch. Okay, so we have 4. Wait, you said 5 with
I think we have 5.
with there. All right, so let's go to the East. Boston,
Yes.
right? I'm interested to watch Boston fail because I don't think this is going to succeed. I don't see how the depth that they traded away with more Robert Williams than trading away Marcus Smart, how that front court depth survives. Because your big man, we've talked about it, it's Porzingis and Horford, right? And then your backup is Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett. And that doesn't get it done in the NBA. So unless they make a huge leap in the future. But I'm interested to seeing how that works and if that fails. I think it will. Okay, Miami Heat are not a championship team.
No.
Milwaukee Bucks are a championship team.
Yes.
Let's presume the 76ers have James Harden. Are they a championship team? I still
No,
championship team.
Because they still can't get out of their own way.
We just said the Knicks are not a championship team.
I don't think so.
I will make the claim that I believe the Cavaliers could be a championship team.
They're the 3rd best team in the East. I need to see them progress.
And to me, they're the 2nd best team in the East.
Do you have them above Boston?
I think they're better than Boston. I think because they play in a different division, they won't be better than Boston for record-wise.
Their division is easier than Boston's. They have Milwaukee, but they also have Indiana, Detroit, and Chicago.
See, and I think Indiana's going to be. I think Indiana's going to be good this year. I really do.
Is it just because you're a wholehearted believer in Tyrese Halliburton?
That's part of it. I won't lie. That is definitely part of it. I'm a big fan of Tyrese. Everybody knows I am a big fan of Tyrese.
Hey, now he gets to play with Obi.
I knew that was going to come. I was waiting for how that was going to come up. I was waiting for how
Tyrese to Obi. It's the dream.
All right. So if you haven't paid attention,
you probably wouldn't have signed Brunson.
If you haven't paid attention, there are 2 guys in the last 10 years that my team should have picked in the draft that I will go to, I don't know, until they retire, saying that they should have been on my team. 1, Tyrese Halliburton. We said that.
2, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. That's exactly right. Those 2 guys. Anyway. Okay. I need to simmer here because it's not going to work otherwise. Okay. Why am I not seeing there we go. Sorry. Okay. So I got the Celtics lead. I think the are you excited by any? So I am excited to see the Bucks. I'm excited to see the Cavs, and I'm excited to see the Pacers in the Central. I'm also excited. I don't think there is a Southeast team that is a championship contender. First of all, the Hawks are definitely not, right? And we just said Miami isn't. That is the worst division. First of all, last year, the Hawks were 41-41. The Heat were 44-38. I don't think the Heat get to 44-38 again. And that means every team in that division may end up under 500.
They will. I don't think Spoelstra is going to let them cruise as much as they did last year.
Okay. Well, now it's prediction time. So basically, you believe that there are only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that are championship contenders.
That is correct.
I think there are 3. Okay. All right. So in the Eastern Conference, I think the Celtics win the division because I think that even if they implode, even if their front court implodes. Regular season wise, the backcourt can handle anything. I don't think that happens. I don't think the implosion happens until Porzingis walks off with an injury in the playoffs. It may happen in the first round, mind you, but I think it will happen. So I have the Celtics first, the Knicks second, the 76ers with Harden third, the Nets fourth, and the Raptors fifth. Mike, first you, and then I have a couple more questions for you.
I pretty much agree.
Does James Harden start the season with this team?
Yes.
Does he actually play?
Yes.
Does he get traded during the year?
Yes.
2?
I think eventually them and the Clippers are going to work this out.
And you don't think that'll happen beforehand?
I don't think Morey's in a rush.
Oh, I know Morey's not in a rush. The question is, will he ever get what he wants, or will he just throw his hands up and say, I'm done? And
eventually he'll get to the point where he says he's done.
But Harden will be playing by that point.
Yeah.
You think Harden's actually going to play? I don't think Harden's going to play. I think Harden's just going to say, F it, and I'm done, and walk away. And so if that's the case, 76ers fall to number 4. If they do get Harden, the Clippers, that is, I'm curious. There's really no trade to be made anymore. Like, it's just a bunch of garbage and a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, somebody is really tired. You're like nocturnal on the. You got to turn on a light, dude.
I'm okay. I'm just drained.
All right. So Central, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Indiana, Chicago, Detroit. I could make a case for Detroit being above Chicago.
I think you can also make a case that Detroit's the worst team in the NBA.
Yes, I think you could go either way. They can make that jump.
I mean, none of these, Cunningham, Ivy, they're really high picks. Let's see something happen. I mean, Cunningham was hurt most of last year. Understood. This will be his third year. It'll be Ivy's second. They have, they brought in Wisely, traded for Wiseman. They have Jalen Duren. Not sure why you traded for one when you have the other.
And you have Barnes. Not Barnes. Marvin
Bagley.
Marvin Bagley, excuse me. Marvin Barnes.
Yeah, that 3-year deal was confusing. I don't get that.
By the way, let's look at how deep the Pacers are. I just want to point this out. So Halliburton starts at the 1. Mathurin starts at the 2. Bruce Brown, Swiss Army knife, starts at the 3.
You're not starting Hield?
I'm not starting Hield. Hield's my 6th man. Okay? Which I think he's perfect for in any situation because the guy can't play a lick of defense, but can shoot the lights out everywhere. Toppin's at the 4, and Miles Turner finally with a 3-year deal is not the most likely to be traded in the NBA after John Collins anymore. So here we are. That's their starting lineup. That is up and down nonsense.
Well, I disagree with you on Toppin being the starter. I think it'll be the rookie Jarris Walker from Houston.
Okay. I can go with that
Toppin will be the adrenaline coming off the bench.
So Toppin and Hield are the adrenaline coming off the bench, along with TJ McConnell and your boy Jalen Smith.
My boy Jalen Smith.
Your boy Jalen Smith.
It's a fun team. I don't know, other than Halliburton, if there's any A-level talent, but it's a fun team to watch.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's one of the fun teams that I'm going to enjoy looking at. All right. So in the Southeast, crap, and more crap. The Wizards are the worst team in the NBA. The Wizards are bad. And each one of those draft picks that they have made, I saw a meme today about the Jets' second-round draft picks, which are just horrendous. They haven't had a second-round pick make the team, I think, in like 5 years. That has lasted more than 3 years. So starting lineup for your Washington Wizards are Tyus Jones at the 1, Jordan Poole at the 2nd, Bilal Coulibaly at the 3, Kyle Kuzma at the 4, and Daniel Gafford at the 5.
Who is at the 3? It's not Corey Kispert?
Now, according to ESPN, the depth chart, Kispert's backing up Poole at the shooting guard. So the first round pick, Koulibaly, is the French guy, is at the 3.
I'm assuming he's not going to start.
That is a whole lot of nothing.
I'm assuming he's not going to start, but yes, I agree. Look, they have nothing. They traded Beal 3 years too late. Didn't get
They got nothing for him.
Didn't get much for him. And now you start your rebuild yet again.
And guess who their number 2 center is? Taj Gibson. And their number
41, he's 42 years old.
And their number 3 center is Mike Muscala.
Muscala's done well when he's played.
Look, Muscala's still in the league. I mean, I think that's more than anything else. This guy, I mean, he's 32 years old. He's played 10 years in the league. 10 years. And his career earnings, I mean, he's made $27 million. Now, granted, I understand the minimum is like $1 million. I get it. But for a guy that has been the 10th and 11th and 12th man on every roster that he's ever been on, starting with the Hawks, going to the Lakers for a year, 76ers, Clippers. I think he was on the Wizard. No, Oklahoma City for 3. Then he played with the Celtics for 1, back to Oklahoma City. And then the Wizards this year. He's making $3.5 million this year. That's the second most he's made his whole career. Congrats to Mike Muscala. Seriously. So I'll go with the Hawks first because the Hawks have the most talent in the division. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to materialize. But we keep waiting, right? We keep waiting for Trae Young to be not – look, Trae Young, I believe, led the league in assists last year. So I can't say that we're waiting for Trae Young to pass the ball. But I'd like some not empty assists rather than just –
It does feel that way.
He feels like he's Ricky Davis. I'm going to throw the ball.
I get it. Not how he plays, but just the basketball IQ-esque kind of.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, this is a pretty easy division to call. I think it's Hawks, Heat, Magic, Hornets, Wizards.
Yep. Okay. The Western Conference, if you will, Denver, Minnesota, number 2, finally. Oklahoma City, number 3. Utah, number 4. And then Portland, number 5 in the Northwest.
Portland should be fun. I want to see Scoot and Sharp. I want to see that backcourt.
So is Portland the equivalent of Indiana?
Probably. Very young, very athletic. Not quite sure how far along they are. I mean, they're literally starting from scratch over again. They're going to trade Jeremy Grant. I mean, I'm assuming. I hated that. I hated that play. I don't know who's going to trade for them.
I was just about to say, who's taking on that deal?
Maybe Orlando. Not Orlando. Maybe Oklahoma City will take 2 first-round picks with it to take them, so they could have every first-round pick in 2026.
Sir, I don't know where. I mean, we talked about Oklahoma City. Who does? All right. So here's my question: would Joel Embiid ever go to Oklahoma City? Because if he would, now
for Chet Holmgren and
I understand they have Chet. I get that they have Chet, right? So you're making that play that he is better than Chet, which he's better than Chet.
Better than Chet.
Do you make the trade, though, if you're Oklahoma City?
Yeah, you have to.
So you trade Chet and a couple of firsts, right? Because Chet would be the guy, right? Chet and a couple of firsts. I mean, they have 1,000 firsts.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are you hurting here? You're getting a top 5 talent. You know, everyone says you need 2. You need 2 heavyweights to win it.
Yep.
That gives you 2 heavyweights.
Does that make them a championship team?
No, not yet. But
think it's pretty damn close,
it
though.
gets them pretty damn close.
With Giddey, I mean, it gets them better than Minnesota.
Yeah, by the way, Anthony Edwards is the most fun player to watch in the NBA.
After John Morant.
Tomatoes.
I agree. Anthony Edwards is a lot of fun to watch. It does not hurt that he's on the Timberwolves for me to watch because I do enjoy watching that team. Does Rudy Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns get traded by the end of this year?
I don't think you can trade either one. I'm not sure the value. Towns is just starting his contract. Gobert is $50 million a year for a 15-point scorer who plays defense. I mean, I don't think you can trade either one and get much back.
Well, I think that's the question, right? Do you trade either one and not get much back and reset?
And just get rid of the contract.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to really reset. I mean, you have talent there. But I think if you can get rid of Gobert, you do. I just don't know how you get rid of him.
So the starting lineup is Conley, Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, who did not play in the playoffs last year, who's their defensive guy, Towns and Gobert. And the question is, does the Gobert-Towns heavyweight match work, right? The Twin Towers match work. In theory, it should, right? In theory, Towns is a spot shooter and moves out of the way.
Right, and Gobert is just a monster down low.
Right. And in practice, it hasn't worked. Now, not everybody has been healthy. Does Karl Anthony Towns defer to Anthony Edwards? Because he better damn well start doing that. Because
I think he'll defer to Edwards a lot more than he'll defer to Gobert.
Oh, I agree. No question. So, are they last year the Timberwolves went 42-40. Are they better this year?
Yeah.
I think they're a 50-win team.
Yeah. I mean, because Edwards is now, we see this with players where, who have struggled with not so great teams and they play in the Olympics or they play in a U.S. team and they're surrounded by all these guys and they just get incrementally better. He signed the contract. He's not going anywhere for a few years. It's his team to build. He's now the leader of this team. It should be Towns, but it's just not. And so he's got to be him. And I think he'll run with it.
I would agree. And as you said, he is definitely one of the more fun people to watch in the NBA. Okay, moving on to the Pacific. We got about 7 minutes left. Kings, first of all, do the Kings win the division?
That division is brutal. I mean, I have no idea.
By the way, you do realize last year the Warriors only won 44 regular season games.
Yeah, because they don't need to.
Right, exactly. So it's Kings, Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers. All 5 of these teams can make the playoffs. And probably will. And I'm not sure the last time it happened. I'm not sure the last time that happened.
No idea.
I mean, the Lakers made it in with the play-in. I'm thinking I guess they can't make it in because
you can't make it in.
Right. You can't make all 5 in. Okay, I'm going to go with the Kings still win the division because they're the only ones that are going to play to win the division. I don't think the rest of them will play to win the division. I think you're going to see Durant take some time off and Kawhi take some time off and George and LeBron and the Warriors. I'm going to go exactly I'm going to flip one. So I'll go Kings, Suns, Lakers, Warriors, Clippers. And if the Clippers don't get James Harden, that's exactly how it's going to fit.
I'm going to go Suns, Warriors, Kings, Clippers, Lakers.
Which is funny that you think the Suns will be, in my opinion. So how many games does Durant play?
Between 65 and 70.
If he plays that many games, yes, I believe you will be right. If he plays that many games. He's played 65 games once over the last 4 years.
Yes, to be fair, he was injured 1 full year and he was recovering
Right.
from
Oh,
that.
I'm just saying, like he's 35, right? So he's gotten injured.
He's not a load management guy. If he's
Agreed.
he'll play if he can.
Okay, so now in the Southwest, and we got 5 minutes. I'm going to go Memphis, New Orleans, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, San Antonio. Houston has no reason to lose either. They lose their pick this year too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Memphis defaults.
Yep.
So I will actually.
You can take Dallas over New Orleans?
I'd go New Orleans. At some points, that has to go right. Something has to go right with that franchise. So I will go Memphis, New Orleans, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston.
Okay. Who are your final 4 in the Eastern Conference?
Bucks, Cavs, Celtics. I guess I'll go Knicks.
Okay. I have the Bucks, the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Celtics too, but I don't think the Celtics make it out of that round. So in the finals, I will have the Bucks and the Cavs, and I'll have
the Bucks. I'll have the Bucks over the Celtics.
I'll have the Bucks over the Cavs, and the Bucks go to the finals. In the West, the 4. Good luck taking one out of the Pacific. That'll be fun. I'll go Denver because they're the easiest one to pick, right? I mean, they are just there. I'm going to presume John Morant is back on the team by that point. So I'll take the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Kings, and the Suns. I'm going to keep. Look, Golden State's. We all know what Golden State brings to the party. This may be the year that it just catches up to them. And I know, look, every time you count them out, they just win. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to say Denver, Golden State, Phoenix, and I'll say the Clippers.
All right. And for the finals, I'm going to have the Grizzlies versus the Bucks.
I'm going to have Denver versus the Warriors in the Western Conference Final. I'll go with Denver. I'm going to go with the really predictable Denver over the Bucks.
And I'm going to have the Bucks. As much as it pains me to say, I'm going to have the Bucks over the Grizzlies. I don't want the Bucks to win. I just don't. I don't want that to happen. I don't want you force a trade. You get a trade. You win a division. Win a conference. I just don't like it. Okay. We got about 2.5 minutes. If you would like to go ahead. If you don't have anything, I got something, but up to you.
Why don't you go?
Okay. Look, last week Seth spoke a little bit more about the Israel situation than I did. And I don't think it hit me as much as it did until this week. And I think a lot of it is the hatred that comes towards our people. And I call it our people because it is our people. I won't say I'm scared because I'm not. I'm angry. I'm incredibly angry and I'm sad. I'm angry at the world, and I'm sad for the people that have to endure this on a daily basis. Because it's not us. We have the ability to walk outside. I walked to a supermarket today. I didn't look up. I didn't see what was coming down. I didn't have to. I had that ability. I'm angry because this world decided that we can support every other cause, but we don't support my cause. I'm really pissed off that has happened. That the media, look, I'm part of the media, right? We're on this podcast in some way. We are part of that media. But the media is so easy to point out the problems that Israel may have, but doesn't see what happened and how that relates. And look, I wasn't alive in the 1930s and the 1940s, but this sure as shit could remind me of that. And I'm really glad my grandparents are not alive to see this again, because my grandfather fought in World War II, and I got to think this is exactly what was happening beforehand. And it's like I'm about on tears. Like that's scary to me that I have to be that way because people just don't listen. People don't pay attention. People want to see what they want to see. And when you see Columbia University, people saying genocide to Jews, that's me, baby. That's me proud. So go fuck yourself. Seriously. Because I got nothing more to say to those people. You want to follow that one up?
Not really.
Okay. Guys, we love sports. We love what we do, but the real world does exist. So we're going to talk about that as well. So have a great week. This is said in church a lot, and I don't generally say it, but peace be with you. Really, peace in today's society, I think we need that. We need a little bit of peace. So we'll talk to you guys next week. Adios.